Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion in the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I'll discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that sits on the side of the page is the Nine of Wands, and it is here because it represents, or I should say it corresponds with the second 10 days or the second decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It looks very much like a wand itself, and wands in tarot are fire element symbolism, and fire element symbolism is about motivation, initiative, spark, drive, sort of the joy and determination with which we pursue our goals, the restlessness that we feel, and also, sort of a remembering or a thinking about how much we have achieved so far. So we come to the Nine of Wands, and the Nine of Wands here, we see somebody who has achieved very much. If you think of each of those wands as sort of a smaller achievement unlocked toward a bigger goal, right? Here we are at 9 out of 10. We've almost reached our goal, right? And so we're looking back on the accomplishments. We're thinking, oh boy, am I tired. Like I've been fighting like heck to do what I know is right, to do what I know will be successful. And, I've got my 9 wands here. I've got number 9. There's almost a defensive look like, don't come and knock my wands down, man. I'm almost done. Okay. So this is an indication that it's time to push on, right? So we come to the Nine of Wands. We might feel a little tired. We might take a little breather and say, oh my goodness, I'm so glad this journey is almost over. Look at all this stuff that I've accomplished. I just have a little bit further to go before I actually can lay all these wands down and start over. And so that's what we do. We practice a little endurance, a little stamina, a little dedication, self-discipline, and just push through to the next level, knowing that we are almost done getting this done. And we got the Death card today. So, the Death card, dun dun dun. This is very much like a traditional death card. You see a king, and in this deck, this king that has been toppled by death here looks very much like the King of Swords does in this deck, but it's just saying that change comes to everybody, really, right? It's not necessarily about anything specific, things dying, people dying, or anything like that. It's just really saying that change does not really discriminate. It doesn't really think about what you want or need. It doesn't think about what you like or how much you have achieved or how much farther you have to go. It is, change comes upon us, and before you know it, a ship has sailed. It's interesting to me that there's a little ship in here. It says to me, that ship has sailed, right? But, we're always moving on toward this golden horizon. So change may feel very confusing, very upsetting, very abrupt. Changes can sort of, no matter what we do to try to create our lives in a certain way, there are things that are happening out in the world that will have an effect on our trajectory, on our plans, and so we just have to be prepared for that to happen. We have to understand that while it feels confusing or upsetting right now, or stressful, or even exciting, it's going to work out. It's going to be okay. All right. The change is inevitable. And there is this like sort of golden dawn over the horizon between the pillars there. So there's strength and there is light in the future ahead of us. We just have to sort of let go of the things that have already passed. Where do we see death on the page today, friends? Dum, dum, dum. Doom, a doom, doom. So, I mean, this brings me back either to whatever's happening in Scorpio, which is not very much right now, or to Pluto, which is the farthest out planet, and it's the change maker. Okay, so we have two change makers, really. We have Uranus, which gives us sort of exciting new developments, and that's one kind of change, is just an exciting new development. And sometimes excitement feels like bad stress, and sometimes excitement feels like good stress, and often it just has to do with how we're going to choose to look at it. But you know Uranus brings with it sort of shakeups, sort of unexpected changes, but things that sort of enlighten us, change our perspective, and perhaps give us some sort of technological updates or updates in understanding. So I love that kind of change, and that's Uranus and Taurus. That's the changes we've been going through in terms of our relationship to the security of resources, right? Those are the changes we're going through that are that are calling on us to consider whether we're happy with the house we live in, with the car we're driving, with the things that we have, or whether we have some better options available to us. Changes can happen pretty rapidly in terms of what is available, and we want to be available for better things to come into our lives, right? So it's not all bad to have this changing relationship to resources, although Uranus has also brought us a lot of shakeups since like 2019, in terms of just being able to get the supplies that we want and that kind of thing. It can be a little challenging to order things from the store and not be able to get exactly what you thought you could rely on. And then, Pluto is over here in Capricorn, and Pluto has really been the harbinger of doom for a lot of traditional edifices, a lot of institutional, a lot of institutions that were meant to last forever. It's been sort of, it's brought a lot of endings and beginnings in, when in terms of cultural things that we've thought of as culturally secure, things that we've thought of as stuff that would never change, like our relationship to patriarchy has changed a lot in the last 20 years, I would say. Our relationship to data and information has changed a lot in the last 20 years. So, that's what Pluto's been doing in the land of Capricorn, is bringing beginnings and endings. And look, it's not over. It's going to go into Aquarius in early next March. But, that's between now and March. We've got another 3 months, 3 or 4 months here, where just watch things sort of crumble in terms of foundations for especially for cultures or for broader groups of people, okay? Watch leadership change, watch governments change, watch all sorts of things that we thought could not be defeated come undone. And so that's death on the page, friends. That's change, which is inevitable, and which we have to sort of accept with a serene heart if we are to just move on, right? So, the Nine of Wands is saying, I've made all these accomplishments, and I'm ready for a change, but I have to push through to the very end, right? We have to get there. And this come with it. Part of this is, when we've been working on something for a long time, there's a part where we need to know when it's time to let go, right? We got to know what the goal is. We got to be able to acknowledge that we've reached the goal, and to sort of let it go. And that is, being in this situation where you've almost completed your goal, and you just have a little bit more of a push to go. Then part of this is accepting the fact that you're going to go through a change really quickly, really soon. Okay, after you've met your goal, there might be a time to take a breath. Change will come inevitably, right? Just the change of being complete on one set of achievements, and therefore needing to find another set of achievements to unlock, right? So, change comes about whether you have planned well, whether you have worked hard, whether you have achieved what you thought you would. But it also comes about when you have planned well, worked hard, and and achieved what you thought you would. We cause the changes to happen in our lives. We don't keep working and keep moving and keep achieving because we don't want things to change for us. Okay, so keep that in mind. Sometimes you get used to doing things one way and you just like, I don't ever want this to change. I feel like I could live this life right here, right now, today, forever, and be perfectly content. But it isn't a reality. Okay, we do need things to change for us from time to time. And so we have to be willing to recognize that there will be changes, and we have to be prepared to accept them as graciously as we may, so that we can allow the ship to sail and move on toward the light, Carol Ann. Okay, friends, I think that's all I have to say about it today. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.